Imagine being at the fair with your child, and this strange policeman calls you by your first name, and he proceeds to tell you where you live, your husband's name, what kind of car you drive, everything about you he knows. Oh my goodness.
Never know, felt like this before. I never know, felt the love like this. I never know, felt like this before. I never know, felt the love like this.
Yeah, I cannot make this stuff up. This is a story time of my policeman stalker. Yes, a policeman stalker. When I tell you I was petrified, I was no more than 22 years old. I think my son at the time was maybe 2. And yeah, I kept noticing we moved to this area in a bad part of town. I'm not going to lie. We bought a house because we were new, trying to start out, get your life going. And what we could afford was not actually the safest. So I have many story times on that neighborhood, okay? But for one, this neighborhood, there were policemen patrolling all the time. But there was this one particular patrol car. They will always come and sit right in front of my house and just sit there. And I noticed he only did it when it was my ex now, but my husband at the time was gone to work. He would just come and sit. But I didn't really think anything about it. I'm like, oh, maybe they're just protecting us. You're so young and innocent and dumb. I wasn't paying attention. I'm like, this is cool. But one day I decided to go to the fair with my son. And yeah, I'm walking at the fair, bebopping around, and someone yells out my name. They yell out my first name. And I'm like, not too many people know me because I just moved to that area. Who knows me? And then it's a policeman. I turn around and it's a policeman, tall, dark-skinned guy, yells out my name. And I'm like, let me go see what he wants. So he kind of called me to him. And when I got there, he was like, your name is da 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 da. Your husband's name is da 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 da. You drive this car, model such and such. He drives such and such. You live on such and such. What am I supposed to do? I'm like, this man knows everything about me. He knew everything, where we worked, everything. It freaked me out. So at this point, he goes on to ask me why am I at the fair along with my son? Where is my husband? And then he's like, oh, I forgot he's at work. So he knows his schedule, everything, you guys. And then he's like, I think you're so beautiful. I think you're so attractive. I've been watching you. I mean, just all kind of crazy stuff. So I just ended up kind of just walking off. I really did. I'm like, okay, he's a jerk. Or he's just crazy. And I just kind of walked off. Didn't think anything about it. How come when I get home later that evening, he pulls up in my driveway? And he's like, I know your husband's still at work. You want to invite a lonely policeman in for dinner or something? No, he didn't. When I tell you this one was bold, because my husband was at the time was due to come home any moment. I was hoping that he would catch him there. I could not wait to tell him what happened. Anyway, I was like, sir, I'm not interested. Please never come back to my house unless you are called. Don't come back, because I'm going to tell my husband what you said. I'm going to tell him everything. He was like, you think that's going to stop me? You think that's going to stop me? To get him to leave, I threatened to call the police. I didn't know what else to do. That's the only way I could get him to leave that day. Anyway, he finally left. And, my husband at the time came home. I told him everything, what happened at the fair, how he was bold enough to come to the house. And he was like, well, next time his car pulls up in the driveway, I said, I've been noticing a police car pull up, their numbers are on the back of the cars. I said, it's the same car that's been sitting out in front of the house, because I'm like, he only does that when my ex, or my husband at the time, he played it real cool. He was like, okay, let's just see, since you told him that you were going to call the police, since you told him not to come back, let's see if he comes back. We're just going to leave it. He's, I really, would rather not get involved. We're just going to leave it as it is. You guys, that man was so persistent. He would keep coming and just sitting in the driveway as soon as my ex was at work. It was so irritating, but he did not come back up to the door until much later. But he came back. So, yes, like I said, he would still come back all the time and just sit when he wasn't there. He would just sit. So I also would go to the grocery store that was right around the corner. It was so close. It was the only grocery store in our neighborhood that, everybody went to. So I guess he went there too. Actually, I think he was like doing security at that grocery store. That's what it was. He was doing security at that grocery store. Every time I go to the grocery store, he has something slick to say. And always trying to follow me around and talk to me in the grocery store. And, when you going to let me come over? What are you cooking for dinner? Please, can I come over? Please, can I come in? All of this crazy nonsense. I was paranoid, you guys, because I grew up very sheltered and very safe. And I always just, trusted people. So for something like this to go on, it was very traumatizing for me. I mean, I'm like, why won't this man leave me alone? I don't want his attention. I want him to leave me alone. He would not do it. So one time too many, he followed me around in the grocery store. So I went home. I knew my husband was at home at the time. And I went home and I got him. I'm like, look, he's up there right now. And he's like, oh, he's up there? And I'm like, yeah. And he followed me around the grocery store the whole time. And he always does. He won't leave me alone. So yeah, my husband at the time, he was dressed up. He had his little suit on. We had been to our meeting or whatever. He went up in there and went right up to him. I do not know what he said to him. I don't know what he said, but I never heard or saw from him again. I never heard from him or saw him ever again, because he dealt with that. I just always grew up trusting the police. I never thought that they would do anything like that as far as stalking you, just giving you unwanted attention and unwanted, I don't know, that pressure. I just, it was too much for me to deal with. Along with that, like, I will tell you guys some other story times later on things we were going through in that neighborhood, and me being so young and so trusting. It was too much going on. We had to get out of there. We moved out very quickly because we were like, we had just bought the house too, very young, our first house. And yeah, it was way too much. It was way too much. But I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. Let me know if you enjoyed it. I have a lot more that I can relate. Yeah, leave me some comments down below. Let me know if you've had anything of the sort happen to you like this. Yeah, so make sure you're subscribed so you can catch more videos like this. And hopefully I'll be seeing you in my next video. Bye.